Alright, welcome back to the channel and back to the bulk. Starting off, we got a pull day over here, and as you can see, we're doing barbell bicep curls. I rotate between doing barbell bicep curls, dumbbell bicep curls, cable preacher curls, and then dumbbell concentration curls. And all of those serve a purpose for me personally. So with the barbell curls here, I'm just trying to move as much weight as possible, primarily using my biceps, obviously. Of course, I'm getting some forearm work here and there. Sometimes I'll get a little momentum depending on how much I'm swinging the weight around. But overall, it's a pretty solid movement. I feel like a lot of people don't do the barbell curls anymore. Everything's a little more isolation or cable based, and to each their own, but they work well for me. I like to put them on here to move a little extra weight, so that's why they're there for me. And then moving over to the cable rows. For the cable rows, the reason I'm doing one at a time over here, or one arm at a time, is actually kind of a stupid reason, but my cable machine is not that great, and if I load up too much weight on one side, it will start to shift the machine. So right now, because it's the middle of winter for me and I'm not in the mood to do some work like that out in the garage, I'm not going to anchor it down right now. So I just kind of make do with doing one arm at a time with obviously lighter weight. So that's the primary reason. It's just one at a time over here. And the movement's pretty simple. So I'm just trying to get a good squeeze in my lat on this. I do allow for a bit of a stretch right there in the starting position, but it's nothing too crazy. Like I said in the last video, I've been really enjoying the squeeze aspect of the lift. So I've been focusing on that a bit more. The stretch aspect, just for me personally right now, I haven't been utilizing very much, simply because I've been really enjoying the squeeze, the contraction of the muscle. So that's the main reason for why these look the way they do. Moving over to the leg day. Very simple here. The leg extensions, as we said in the last video, the attachment machine I have here is not optimal, so I kind of am forced to just do the best I can with what I got. I try to get a good squeeze at the top as much as possible, and there is no stretch aspect for these for me personally. And again, it's just the setup of this machine. I can't get a stretch on the muscle, so I'm forced to just try to contract it as best as possible at the top. I think further on in this particular day, I believe I do a iso hold right at the top for a little bit. And again, that's just a little extra work on the quads. There it is. A little extra work on the quads. It's nothing crazy. It's just a little more work on them just so I can feel them a bit better on that. Nothing crazy there. And then we switch over to leg curls. For the leg curls, I do them on the cable here because I really can feel it with the squeeze. I have to do them one at a time, obviously, because I'm standing, and it does take a little extra time. It's not ideal, but the squeeze on these, for me, are really, really solid, so I do really, really like them. Obviously, I do Romanian deadlifts as well. Not on this particular leg day, but I do like to add in a decent amount of hamstring work. Again, these are pretty simple movements. I'm just trying to get a really good squeeze on the hamstrings at the top. I do allow for a bit of a stretch. This is not like a perfect form either. Obviously I am swaying a little bit. I am using a little body English, but it's nothing crazy. I do feel a stretch when I'm lowering the weight down, and then when I'm bringing it up, I do squeeze at the top. You will see I try to point my toes as best as I can. I did hear that if you point your toes a little bit on these, that causes a little more focus on the hamstring muscles. And then we'll switch over to dumbbell shoulder press. Pretty simple here. Just using the dumbbells, push them up, bring them down. I'm not going crazy on momentum. I'm just trying to move the weight in a controlled manner. Looking back on this, it does seem like I am focusing, or I have more outside movement with my right arm, and my left arm, it looks like it's the dumbbell is closer in. So that's something I got to work on, and I'm going to try to focus on that a little bit more in the next one. It's not crazy weight for me. Again, my shoulders are a weak point, so it's nothing crazy with the weight. And then we switch over to cable press. This movement I really, really like for my chest. I get a really good squeeze at the top, and then I allow it to basically pull my chest apart is how it feels. Nothing crazy. I'm not using heavy weight, so it's not going to rip anything. It just feels like a good stretch on these and then a really good squeeze. For my chest specifically, I do really like some of the stretching aspect of lifts. So for these in particular, I really like that stretch on my pec, and then when I bring it forward, I really try to contract it as best I can. Like I've said in the last video, my chest is a weak point as well, so it's another thing I'm really trying to work on and just do a little extra volume here and there. For these, towards the end of these, the reps do get much more slowed. They do get a lot more oomph to them. And again, that's just because I'm taking them closer to failure with these, because these are a weak point for me. So a good movement there. And then going on to the next pull day. These are just dumbbell bicep curls. Very simple, obviously. Nothing crazy in terms of weight, nothing crazy in terms of reps or anything. I think I'm going around 10 to 12 reps on these dumbbell bicep curls. It's it's self-explanatory. I mean, I'm driving my pinkies through the center of the dumbbell. I'm sure some of you guys have heard that before. I'm really trying to squeeze my bicep at the top, and then I'm just controlling the weight as it goes down. It's nothing crazy. It's a very solid and simple movement. As I've said before, my left arm is weaker than my right, so you'll see that when I start with these, I always start with my left arm, and then obviously, because I'm going one to the next, my right arm is matching what my left can do. So my left arm, the last few reps are usually a little more grimy, a little more hard. For my right, I probably could get a couple more, but again, I'm trying to match them so that my left will catch up to my right because my right is stronger. And then these are lat pull-ins. You can do them a variety of ways. For me, I do them in this setup, and I also will do them, and I'll show them in a different video. I do them a different way. But for these ones, it's very similar to a lat pull-in, or sorry, a lat pull-down. These are lat pull-ins. I'm trying to really squeeze my lat as I'm bringing it down. I do allow for a bit of a stretch at the top, but I don't hold it there for very long. And then again, I'm just bringing it down, really squeezing that lat, really focusing on getting a nice contraction with the lat. Again, these are one at a time, so I go from left to right. I think my left is a tiny bit weaker than my right side, but they're pretty darn close. It's not as significant as my biceps. So kind of just matching left to right, but I take them pretty close to failure. I do really try to squeeze towards the end of these when I'm finishing up the set. Again, solid work. It's a good movement for me, and I do really feel it in my lats afterwards, so I like these a lot. Usually I try to have a horizontal pull when I'm doing a vertical pull. As you can see, I did barbell rows earlier in the day. And then we'll go over to the posing. I got these chicken calves over here, but the weight is moving up. When I weighed in on Sunday, it was 192.2 pounds. That's good work. That's good weight. I'm sure a lot of it is fat. My last update, I was 188.8. So that's like a 3.5-ish pound increase. Obviously, that's not all muscle. That's going to be a lot of fat on there too, but that's okay because we're really trying to bulk up and see what we can do with the weight. That's it for the week here. I hope you guys have a good one and take it easy.